I'm Jason Las Vegas, and these are my 2022 NFL Wildcard Weekend picks. Okay, so it is currently 7:34 a.m. here in Las Vegas, Monday, January 10th, 2022. NFL Week 18 is over. Raiders defeated the Chargers in overtimes to secure their place in the playoffs, and that wildcard weekend games schedule has been released. So let's make our picks. First picks, we're gonna have to, unfortunately, pick against the home team. We're gonna take the Bengals minus 6.5. I really, really like that offense. The Raiders, you have to give them a huge shout out. They played through a lot this season. I just think they've not only have they peaked, they're just playing a really, really tough team. The Bengals, they won their division this year. Their offense is firing on all cylinders, and they had like a few weeks off. They were off this week. They didn't play many of their starters last week's. They played a few of their starters, so they've had a lot of time. This is a home game, one of the first home games for the Bengals in a really long time. I'm going to take the Bengals under one possession. I think they could win this game by 7 points. 6.5 is a good number for me. So I'm going to take the home team Bengals to win over the Las Vegas Raiders. 6.5 points against the spread. Next game, kind of a tough one. I kind of went back and forth. Something with me with the Bills. I just don't trust them. The Patriots, I feel like they still have mind control over the Bills. 4.5 points. It is a division game. I always feel like anything over 3, maybe even 3.5 points for division games is just too many points. This will be the third time these teams have played each other this season. The season series is tied. I know the Bills won the last game, and they're coming off in some good momentum. But you know what? If you're gonna give me or if you're gonna give Belichick 4.5 points, I think you just have to take Belichick 4.5 points. I'm gonna take the New England Patriots plus 4.5 points on the road versus the Buffalo Bills. They could still lose the game. I know a lot of people don't trust Mac Jones too much, and the Bills probably will win this game. But you know what? I can't bet against Bill Belichick plus 4.5 points against a division team. Next game, we're pretty lucky to get this number here. BetMGM 8.5. I've seen like 9.5, so I'm gonna have to take the Bucks pretty convincingly. I feel like this is probably one of the best plays of the week. The Eagles, we know they have a good running game, but the Bucks have a really good defense against the run. And then you have to worry about, with the Bucks, pretty good offense, how much are the Eagles going to be able to run the ball if they're down 14-0, 17-0, 21-10. I think it's going to force the Eagles to pass the ball a lot more. And against the Bucks, I'm going to have to take the Bucks minus 8.5, a little more than one possession. I could see the Bucks winning this game, 30-20. I know the Bucks played last season versus the Washington football game. I don't think they covered that spread, but I think that game was on the road. So I'm going to take the Bucks despite all their shortcomings this season. They are still the number 2 team in the NFC, so they have at least one home. Well, yeah, at least one home game, right? You would imagine, or maybe at least 2. Yeah, it would be at least 2. Well, at least one home game if they don't lose this game. So I'm going to have to take the Bucks. Shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles this season. They've had a good season. I think Hurts didn't play this last weekend versus the Cowboys. I don't know if that was injury related. He may have a sore ankle in that game. But he should be 100% versus the Bucks. Either way, I'm still going to take the home team, championship team, Tom Brady, minus 8.5 points against the Philadelphia Eagles. Next game, I'm gonna, this is a great game. This is gonna be a really, really fun game to watch. Pretty early, 10 a.m. for us on the West Coast in Las Vegas. But the Sunday game, 49ers versus the Dallas Cowboys. I'm gonna take the Dallas Cowboys. I really like Deebo Samuel for the 49ers, and the Cowboys offense is up and down all season, but they have covered against the spread most of the times this season. I think they're the third, so they are the third seed. So this is going to be a home game. I think this may be the only home game for the season, for the rest of the season for the Cowboys. But I don't see the 49ers being able to score many points versus this Cowboys offense versus the Cowboys defense. I like the Cowboys offense more than I like the 49ers defense, but I'm really worried about Jimmy Garoppolo. He throws so many interceptions, a lot of turnovers for the 49ers. They do run the ball a lot. The Cowboys, they have a pretty good run defense. They definitely have one of the best pass defenses in the league. So I'm going to take, this is kind of a small number. It's only 3. You know, you would think, if anything, the Cowboys probably win this game by 3 points. So because it's such a small number for the number 3 seed, 49ers just squeaked into the playoffs. Jimmy Garoppolo he looked good. He won the game versus the Rams. I'm not too crazy about the Rams anyway, but this Cowboys team, they look pretty good since the first game of the season. They have a home game. They're playing the team that barely made the playoffs. I'm going to have to take the Dallas Cowboys -3 at home versus the San Francisco 49ers. Next game, I'm not too crazy about this line, but you have to take the Kansas City Chiefs versus -12.5 points versus the Steelers. I don't really love going back to, recent history and saying, well, the last game. But in the last game, Kelsey did not play, and Tyreek Hill only had 2 receptions for like 19 yards. But the Chiefs outran, I don't know if they outran, but they did run for over 127 yards. And the Steelers ran for like over 100 yards also. I would imagine the Chiefs being at home, having Kelsey back, having Hardman, having Hill. I don't know if Hill was injured. I know he was hobbling this weekend. He had an injured heel. Either way, I'm still just going to take the Kansas City Chiefs. The Steelers barely made the playoffs once again. They beat the, was it Baltimore Ravens? Was it the Ravens? I believe they beat the Ravens. They beat the Browns and the Ravens to make the playoffs. I believe they played the Browns on a Monday night game. Then they had to play the Ravens. Either way, I'm just going to take the Chiefs. They've won a lot of games in a row. The last loss came against the Cincinnati Bengals, and that was a 3-point road loss. I don't love the Steelers' offense. Ben Roethlisberger, I think he hasn't thrown for like 200 yards in many games. 12.5 points is a little bit too much. Chiefs aren't really known for covering high spreads like this, but this is the playoffs. They seem focused. I think the Steelers may have peaked going into playoffs. I'm pretty sure they're just happy to make the playoffs. I'm gonna take the Chiefs, who will have Kelsey in this game. And in the first game, they beat the Steelers by like 20 or 30 points without Kelsey, and Hill only had 2 receptions. So I'm gonna take the Chiefs -12.5 points. I can see the Chiefs winning by 14 points, maybe even 21 points. In the last game, I'm going to take for the 2022 NFL Wildcard weekend, I have to take the Cardinals. Nothing against the Rams. It's just something about Stafford. He's another one who throws so many interceptions. That's a problem. The Rams, they just lost to the 49ers. And it's something about that Rams defense. They're fighting with each other. Every time you look at the sideline, someone's arguing. They don't really seem to get along too much. I know Sean McVay is a high-energy guy. Anytime anyone scores a touchdown, he runs over. He says, congratulations and all of that. But the team still does not really seem to gel too well. They seem to, I hate to say this, but now they seem like they're starting to force the ball to Odell Beckham Jr. That is something I worry about. So if you're going to give me 4.5 points, once again, it's a division game. Cardinals and the Rams, they played each other twice this season. They split the season series. But anything over 3.5 points for a division game, I don't mind taking that. I think the Cardinals can win this game outright. I know they have some injuries, just mainly Hopkins, but we don't know if J.J. Watt is coming back in this game. Either way, I'm still going to take the Cardinals plus 4.5 points versus the Rams. I do not like the Rams. I just don't. Even if they win this game, I know there's going to be a lot of hype behind them. Even with that, I'm still going to take 4.5 points for the Cardinals. Okay, so there's 6 games this NFL weekend. As you know, I love to add crazy parlays to my bet slip. So we have a UFC event, this first UFC event this week. We're just going to bet the main event, Giga Shikazi. We're going to take him over Kelvin Cater. He's a badass. I think Giga Giga Chikadze wins this fight maybe by second round, maybe even third round TKO. He's a badass. Keep an eye on Giga Chikadze. Main event UFC Vegas 46. I'm going to take the main event fight. I'm taking Giga Chikadze over Calvin Kattar. So there's going to be 7 bets for this NFL Wildcard weekend, 6 NFL picks, and 1 MMA pick. I would pick the college football game tonight. Obviously, I lean towards Alabama, and Alabama's getting points. So I would take Alabama on the money line, and I would take Alabama plus 2.5 points. I just already have a few bets with Alabama in them, so I don't want to have like 5 or 6 parlays with all Alabama, especially if they lose. But either way, I do lean towards Alabama. I have money on Alabama against the spread, and I have money on Alabama on the money line tonight for the college football championship. But for this parlay NFL Wildcard weekend, we're taking the Bengals minus 6.5. We're taking the Patriots plus 4.5 against the spread. The Bucks minus 8.5 against the spread. The Dallas Cowboys minus 3 against the spread. The Kansas City Chiefs minus 12.5 against the spread. And the Arizona Cardinals plus 4.5 against the spread. That Arizona Cardinals versus the Rams game, that is a Monday night game for Wildcard weekend. So there will be 3 games on Sunday, 1 game on Monday, and I believe 2 games on Saturday. But the Cardinals versus the Rams, that's a Monday night game for Wildcard weekend. And Giga Chikadze, we're going to take him to defeat Calvin Kattar in the main event of UFC Vegas 46. For this parlay, we're going to risk $2.98 to win $171.19. Okay, so there you have it. Those are my 2022 NFL Wildcard weekend picks. We have a 7-pick parlay. Will I go 7-0 or will I go 0-7? Which game are you looking? What are your picks for NFL Wildcard weekend? Who is your favorites? Who's your favorite? What's your lock of the week? Who's your favorite home team of the week? Who's your favorite road team of the week? What's your game of the week? I don't really have a game of the week. I'm going to be paying a lot of attention basically to all the games. I would say I probably have the most attention probably on the San Francisco 49ers versus the Cowboys. Is that the lowest spread? That is the lowest spread. Probably one of the most evenly matched games. You know, I'm 38 years old, so I watched the 49ers and the Cowboys growing up. Irving and Aikman and Smith versus Young and Rice, right? So, you know, memories of that is going to have me watching the San Francisco 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys probably the most. Also, former resident of San Francisco, have nothing but love for that city. Even though I'm betting against them, have nothing but love for the San Francisco city. Other games, Raiders versus Bengals, that should be fun. I think a lot of people probably, if I'm guessing, I think for some reason the probably most watched game will be the Patriots versus the Bills. You may get some weather in that game. Hopefully we get some weather in that game. That's a Saturday game, Saturday night game. It would be pretty cool if it was snowing. But besides that, not the sexiest NFL lineup. Also to mention, the Packers and the Tennessee Titans both had bye weeks this week. They were both the number 1 seeds in their division. So they will be playing the 4 and the 5 seeds next weekend. The Packers and the Tennessee Titans will be back. We'll see if Derrick Henry is off the injury reserve and if he's back for the Tennessee Titans. Those 2 teams look like really, really good bets next weekend. But I'm Jason Las Vegas. These were my 2022 NFL Wildcard weekend picks. A 7-pick parlay. We're risking $2.98 to win $171.19.